Warm greetings to all the viewers. Here you will learn the fourth prose prescribed for NCERT English Grade 10, which is titled From the Diary of Anne Frank. Now I will give the introduction of the lesson. Anne Frank was a young Jewish girl. She lived with her parents in Germany, but Hitler's Nazi party was against the Jews. The Nazis were killing the Jews or forcing them to work in the concentration camps. The Frank family fled from Germany in 1933 and took shelters in the Netherlands. But in 1940, Germany attacked the Netherlands and captured it. Now, the Nazis started arresting the Jews and sending them to the concentration camps. The Frank family went into hiding. They lived secretly in the upper floors of their business premises. They hid there for 25 months. Their non-Jewish friends gave them food. Anne had started writing her diary before going into hiding. In August 1944, the Germans came to know of their hiding. They were arrested and sent to Germany. Anne, her sister Margaret, and her mother soon died in the concentration camp. Her father, Otto Frank, survived and published part of Anne's diary. In this diary, Anne gives a moving and tragic account of the difficulties faced by her family and other Jews. The part of the diary reproduced in this chapter is about the days when Anne was a schoolgirl, and during those days, she and her family had not yet moved to the secret place. Now, let us focus on the important vocabulary related to this lesson. Number 1, listless, which means with no energy or interest. Number 2, confide, which means to tell personal things privately to a person that one trusts. Number 3, plunk down. This is an informal word which means put down in a casual way. Number 4, quaking in its boots, which means shaking with fear and nervousness. Number 5, old fogey, which means an old-fashioned person. Number 6, ramble on, which means talk or write aimlessly for long. Number 7, convincing argument, which means a statement made in such a manner that people believe it. Number 8, inherited traits, which means qualities which are physical or mental that one gets from one's parents. Number 9, incorrigible, which means something that cannot be corrected, usually a bad quality. Number 10, ingenuity, which means originality and inventiveness. Now let us discuss about the characters in the lesson. Number 1, Anne Frank, a 13-year-old Jewish girl who writes a diary while she is hiding from the Nazis during World War II. Number 2, Margaret Frank, who is Anne's sister. She is 3 years elder than Anne. Number 3, Otto Frank, Anne's father. He is a Jewish businessman who left Germany after Hitler's rise to power, hoping to find refuge in Holland. Number 4, Mrs. Frank, who is Anne's mother. Number 5, Mr. Van Daan, a Jewish businessman and an associate of Otto Frank. Number 6, Mr. Kiesing, Anne's mathematics teacher, who punishes her as he gets annoyed by her talkative nature. Now I will provide the detailed summary of the lesson. This chapter is a part of Anne Frank's diary. Here she tells us about the early days of her life. She says that she decided to start writing a diary because she did not have a friend. Anne was born on 12th June 1929. She had a sister who is 3 years elder to her. She lived in Frankfurt until she was 4. Her father immigrated to Holland in 1933. Anne Frank was sent to the Montessori school and stayed there until she was 6. She started in the first form. When Anne was in the 6th form, her teacher was Mrs. Cooperess, the headmistress. Both had a great love for each other. Anne had no one in whom she could confide the feelings of her heart. So she decided to make a diary as her friend. She called it Kitty. On Saturday, 20th June 1942, Anne Frank made her first entry in her diary. It was in the form of a letter and was addressed to her diary, Kitty. There, Anne describes her experiences with her mathematics teacher, Mr. Keesing. Anne writes that one day, Mr. Keesing punished her for talking in the class. He gave her extra homework. He asked her to write an essay on a chatterbox. Anne wrote it, but she again talked in the class. Now, Mr. Keesing asked her to write an essay on the title An Incorrigible Chatterbox. Anne wrote that also, and Mr. Keesing liked the essays written by Anne Frank. But Anne could not give up the habit of talking in the class. So, as a punishment, Mr. Keesing asked her to write an essay on an unusual title, which is Quack, 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 said Mistress Chatterbox. Anne wrote this essay in the form of a poem. It was about a mother duck and the father swan. The father bit the 3 ducklings to death because they quacked too much. It was a satire on Mr. Keesing, but he took the joke in the right way. He read the poem to Anne's class and other classes also. He allowed Anne to talk in the class and never again gave her extra homework, since it is the inherited trait of hers. As the theme of the lesson, we can see Anne's frankness, honesty, and sincerity in describing her daily life, which made her writing the most important document. Hope you are benefited. If so, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.